Bon dia, molt bon dia a tothom. Good morning to everybody and welcome to this forum. My name is Anna Simon and I'm the Managing Director of International Innovation at Acció. As all of you may know, Acció is the agency for the competitiveness of Catalan industry. I will explain later on how can we help you in this subject we are treating today. But just a short introduction about what we're going to do this morning. As you know, we are going to present you 12 projects of future projects of public procurement for innovation. That will be ready in 1-3 years. So these projects are looking to finish to build their consortia, or maybe they are looking for early pre-consultation in the market. Okay, each speaker will have 3 minutes to present his project, and we think, as Acció, as the Agency for the Competitiveness, we are fostering this public procurement for innovation, as we think it is one of the best strategic public instruments to stimulate innovation among companies, in the private sector and among technological providers. But at the same time, as you perfectly know, it's a great tool to innovate in public administrations. And how can we help you from Acció? What we are doing now is to look for these calls internationally with the help of our offices abroad. We have, as the Agency of the Competitiveness, we have 40 offices abroad, and some of them, especially 12, are dedicated to look for these kind of tenders and to analyze them and to dynamize all these things and to make them known by our companies to be able to present their offers to these tenders. In the last 2 years, we have identified like 140 tenders in different sectors and different technologies. This is the agenda we are going to present today. And at the end, Anna Ciutat, General Director of Public Procurement, will introduce the Guide of Public Procurement for Innovation. And as I was saying, here you have the landing page in our web, where you can find more detailed information about how we can help you in this process. And also, another thing we can do for you is to help you to find partners. In this sense, today and also yesterday, we are organizing a brokerage event here at the Smart City World Expo that is just right there. Maybe some of you have already participated or you will do it today. And this is organized in the framework of the EN, European Enterprise Network. Acció is node of this network, and in this case, we have obtained more than 400 participants, and I think we have organized already more than 1,400 meetings. So that's it from my side. So now I would give the floor to Anna Monistrol, the responsible of the program at Acció, that will explain you further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. See, thank you, Anna. This is the QR code, and then if you click the yellow button, you can download the document of the monitoring tenders. So, if we have now 75 tenders in the status of pending, in market consultation, or open. And when the tender closes, we take it off of the document, and that's all. So, thank you to everybody. And sorry, we pass to the catalog. So thanks to the speakers that have came to this event. We have people from France, the Grenoble-Alpes Metropole, Klaus Hapfast, and then from the city of Tampa, the United States, Big Bite. I don't know if it's there. From Catalonia, the city of Terrassa, the city of Parets. Also from UK, the Oxford Country Council, DT Wallace. I don't know if it's there. Okay. From the Consorci Corporació Sanitària Parc Taulí, Anna Ullastres. Here, okay. And Ramon Roca, the Consorci Sanitari de Terrassa. Bueno, maybe they come. And Jean Patrick d'Aquas. I don't see. Bueno, okay. So thank you very much. And we start with the first. Klaus, if you take the floor, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. My name is Klaus Hapfast. I'm a vice mayor from Grenoble in France, looking after innovation. In France, law requires all municipalities to produce open data if they have more than 3,500 inhabitants. And the 49 municipalities and all the utilities that are within the perimeter of Grenoble-Alpes Metropole Council have decided to pool their resources in order to meet this requirement. So our current production of open data that covers just 3 bodies will in the very near future have to cover dozens of bodies that all run different IT infrastructures. So we need a new platform to extract open data and publish open data for dozens of partners from a single portal. That's not a very new requirement. Many others do it. We would, on the other side, recognize that the real value of data is not only in open data, it's also in the big data of personal data. And as a first step, we would like to create for each citizen in Grenoble an account where he can access all personal data that is stored by any or created by any of the participating municipalities and utilities through a single sign-on. And that could either be a single sign-on onto the silo of our various partners, but we would also consider to have an infrastructure where the personal data is copied or moved onto a single, into a single storage area where it can then be accessed by the citizens, controlled, and in a later stage also be liberated for use by local platform economies in order to organize the sharing of resources. So we are looking at this step for a research partnership because, of course, in the end there will be a Europe-wide tender as law requires, but at the moment we are not in a position to write the requirements document, so we are looking for a research partnership. And as Barcelona is really a world leader in open data by the city and the city council, maybe in Catalonia there are companies that can help us. Thank you.
Thank you, Klaus. So the next is the Mr. Big, I don't know the name, is here, the city of Tampa, because before I asked, no? Okay. So Terrassa, yes? Thank you, Laura. Vale.
Good morning. My name is Laura Sarrión, and I am Innovation Technician from Terrassa City Council. Terrassa has been firmly committed to innovation since 2007, being one of the first municipalities in Spain to create its own innovation department at the beginning of an economic crisis. Currently, it is integrated by 10 people, and it has two clearly differentiated lines of actions. The promotion of the innovation from a global and transversal perspective, and the positioning of Terrassa as an innovative city at national and international level. For 2 years, one of the strategic lines of work of our service has been the promotion of the public procurement of innovation from a global and transversal perspective, and the positioning of Terrassa For 2 years, one of the strategic lines of work of our service has been the promotion of the public procurement of innovation, which is why we have dedicated important efforts to define the challenge we face in all areas of the City Council as a city, and to may be subject to resolution through the public procurement of innovation. After an accurate analysis work, we have concluded that these challenges are: the first one, proactive identification of cockroach plagues, and the second one, Terrassa, a resilient city. With regards to proactive identification of cockroach plague challenge, at present, the actions carried out by the City Council for solving the problem are focused on the elimination after warning, generally from the citizenship. The elimination of the plague from its detection takes an approximate duration of 1 week, which affects the quality of life of the citizenship and the image of the city. Terrassa City Council hopes to identify early the presence of insects before their appearance on public roads and activate the appropriate actions measures. Therefore, the City Council proposes the acquisition of innovation systems that facilitate this early identification of plagues, which are also easily exportable to other cities. To address this challenge, the public procurement of innovation is especially indicated, and it is why it was raised a preliminary market consultation, in which 2 proposals were obtained. Both of them focused on the development of sensors capable of storing data and created automated alerts. None of the technologies have been tested, as far as it is known, in real environments. In this sense, there is uncertainty about its effectiveness. Could you please select the second slide? The second challenge identified, which we have been called Terrassa, a resilient city, is related to have mechanisms that facilitate risk identification, simulation of effects, and proposals for action in which the appropriate municipal service can be connected to activate the necessary measures of prevention, mitigation, or correction of impacts. 3 of the most priority cases are the risk of fire in the northwest area of the city, floods in the Riera del Palau, and vulnerable groups of people, among others. The solutions must be also easily exportable to other cities. Each case has its technological peculiarities and challenges. The challenge in the case 1, fire detection, is to have an autonomous system connected to the municipal platforms that alerts when there are signs of fire before it propagates and proposes actions to municipal technicians. The challenge in the case 2, floods in the Riera del Palau, is to have an autonomous system connected to the municipal platforms that alerts when there are signs of overflowing and enables an action plan to be activated. And finally, the challenge in the case 3, vulnerable groups of people, is the development of a technological platform which detects, quantifies, and maps all the needs of the group of interest. The ones who are considered in this case are the elderly people, in order to design specific services or devices. After consulting the market, 3 proposals have been received which allows managing different alerts. Technologies are available, but they require additional development to be really functional and to cover the exposed needs. Currently, we are in the process of defining the tender to be launched, hoping that public procurement of innovation can solve the challenge defined in our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. So the next one is from the Parets del Vallès. Ramon.
Good morning. My name is Carlos Garries of the Parets del Vallès. We believe in smart cities. Parets del Vallès is located in the southwest of the Vallès Oriental, at 23 kilometers from Barcelona. Parets is one of the most important industrial centers in the area and a style that is quite attractive for company signs and enjoys a privileged situation and good network of communication that connects the city through Barcelona, with all Spain and Europe. After the municipal elections last May, a political coalition of the right parties started to rule the City Council of Paret del Vallès. We propose in our political program to make our municipality appear in the smart cities maps and to make it be a reference for all those other municipalities with less than 20,000 population. We believe in integration action between political technicals and citizens. We are government team will of kind of professionals that come from different ranges to really of management dialogue in pursuit of a more future picture. We are aware of the big and good job done previously in the municipality that must be considered. There are preliminary plans made by the provincial council and different ICTs that must be integrated into the different areas of government. That's the reason why we are starting from a well side made and we will do collective and participatory process to write the Smart Cities Plan 2020-2023. Our second step will be the creation of the Technology Office, and we will coordinate from there our enterprise, unifying and giving a direction sense to it. This is one of the main strong ideas that we are developing. We have observed the emergence of multiple ICTs with the administration, with no reach their full permanence, and in so many times we feel our service duplicity, meaning performance and ignorance of this potential. We are talking about projects that will not finish in 4 years. We want to involve citizens or socials, entities, companies for all industrial areas and other agencies for different governance levels. We want that new technologies which will help us to enter and navigate in the next industrial technological revolution. Our communication networks, service, public building, mobility, and social democratization can begin to be audited, always within environmental parameters, quality of life, and human capital, or jobs and industry. The following actions will be to develop systems for the monitoring of service, energy efficiency for municipal buildings, a study of urban mobility and environmental. We want to be an agora where all smart cities have a place to reflect on where our society is headed. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. So next is Didi. Perfect. Okay, perfect.
Hi, good morning. Can everybody hear me? My name's Dee Wallace, and I am here from Oxfordshire County Council in the UK. I'm the Health and Care Innovation Lead. It's really fantastic to be here talking about what I think is one of our next big global challenges. When we think about smart cities, we tend to think about transport and infrastructure, but it's good to be able to talk about the challenge of our rapidly aging population and developing technology that will be suitable for prevention and to help that rapidly aging population live longer, happy, cost-effective lives. And so this isn't just a UK challenge, this is a global challenge. I'm talking specifically in this instance about people with dementia and interventions and technology that will allow them to improve their cognitive ability. So just think for a minute that currently the number of people with dementia globally is estimated to be 50 million. So to put that into context, that's currently greater than the total population of Spain. It's projected to nearly triple by 2050. So there's a real recognized need, specifically within dementia, to provide interventions that will improve and retain their cognitive ability. And I'm talking about reminiscence therapy. Therapeutically, what tends to be done in the community is interventions with these people that will take them back in time. So maybe showing them a photograph of when they were young, maybe playing music that takes them back to a certain point of time. And what we're proposing through this product is to do that via technology. Why? Because these interventions are currently delivered in community clinics, community memory clinics, at great cost. We have to think about the fact that these elderly patients, A, have to travel out to these clinics. It's quite difficult to transport them. There's a workforce impact in getting people to deliver these interventions, and there's also the carbon emissions in traveling. So we want to make these services more accessible by technology. So the product that we're proposing is a suite of immersive virtual reality or VR products. They're to be used by dementia patients in the home environment. And again, as I say, they're designed to improve cognitive ability through reminiscence therapy. What it involves is photographic asset mapping of sets designed to take these older people back to a specific period in time. So it could be 1945, 1955, 1965. It triggers memories that improve their cognitive ability, health, and well-being. And we're really lucky in Oxford that we live in a center of academic excellence with a lot of universities. We're partnering with a fantastic organization called Oxford Robotics Innovation. They've developed a Midas data haptic glove with sensors, which will enable older people to effectively negotiate within the virtual reality environment instead of using cumbersome controllers, which older people find quite challenging. So the results and impact that we're expecting to deliver is reduction of pressure on statutory services. Delivering psychosocial interventions in the home environment will reduce pressure on our National Health Service and create efficiency savings. So, just to think that between 2008 and 2009, so between 2009 and 2014, the number of people who attended a memory clinic in the UK rose by 682%. So this is a pressing need for us in the UK, and it's a global need because dementia doesn't differentiate by nationality. This is a real global challenge. We want to improve the health and well-being of our older people with dementia and indeed younger people with dementia. It's a positive driver for those people. It improves their cognitive ability, but it's also improving a quality of life for their families and carers for them to be able to function better. I've already noted reduction in carbon emissions and releasing workforce within our National Health Service who would otherwise deliver these interventions in community. So what we're looking for, we already have a really good partnership of academics, and we have the tech to deliver. What we're looking for is a creative content build, photographic asset mapping technology, VR technology, robotics technology, user interface, and analytics and reporting systems. And of course, we're always looking for funding. So if you're interested, please come and speak to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi. So next one.
Okay, thank you. My name is Ana Ollastres. I'm an innovation technician in Partauli Hospital here in Sabadell, close to Barcelona. Today, I will be presenting two different tenders that are almost ready to be published. The first one is creating a new model, digital model of standardization of assistant process. Clinical pathways or care pathways are multidisciplinary management tools that are based on evidence and on practice for a specific group of patients with a predictable clinical course. That means, for example, a prosthesis replacement. In this tool, it is reflected all the interventions performed to the patient in a sequential way, and also it reported all the data that is needed. So, for example, blood pressure, food intake of the patient during the process, etc. The thing is that these tools are mostly used to report nursery activity on the patient. So in our hospital, some years ago, we developed a new model to standardize all the processes that are focused on the patient, and in this tool we reflect all the different interventions that are performed to the patient, coming from all the different healthcare professionals, so doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, etc. We have already developed and implemented a total of 30 processes in our hospital, having very positive results. But what's the problem? We have it on paper, so we need to digitalize these processes. Also in this project, what we pretend is to digitalize and standardize more processes. So for example, we want to kind of standardize the systems of chronic patients. We expect to open the tender during the beginning of next year. So probably we will start with the open market consultation soon. And well, we are looking for basically companies that are possibly interested in the tender to digitalize the process. Then for the next project, here we already have opened the open market consultation. In this procurement, we try to find an innovative solution to solve a common problem during colon surgery. So, for example, when taking out a tumor from the digestive tube, they perform a surgery technique called anastomosis. Anastomosis is a surgical technique to reconnect two different tissues. When operating, doctors try to focus on those areas that are more irrigated. This is crucial to maintain this reconnection after surgery, because if it's not performed in a tissue that is well enough irrigated, sometimes these reconnections are broken, and this can, for example, produce a sepsis on the patient or other problems in the health of the patient. So nowadays, doctors, they try to localize these areas more or less by the color of the tissue. Sometimes they can even use a specific ink to change the color of the blood and try to see better these areas. But the decision is always quite subjective and based on the experience of that doctor. So the idea of this public procurement is to obtain a technology and a product that is able to detect these areas with more irrigation, and that this tool needs to be integrated in the laparoscopic equipment. So for this procurement, we will work with the companies in the following way. First, we will follow 3 different steps. So first one, we will work with 5 different companies. Each company will receive about 15,000 euros and 3 months to generate a first prototype. Then the 3 companies that wins the first step will get 30,000 euros and 6 months to create a product. And with this product, we will perform clinical assays with animals. And from these 3 companies, the best one will get the tender and will get 130,000 euros and 12 months to finally get the product. So the product, remember, it was the new technology integrated into the laparoscopic equipment. Well, this tender is, as I said, the open market consultation is still open until the middle of December. So, well, you can check it in the platform in Acció if you are interested in. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Next one, it's Ramon from the Consorci Sanitari Terrassa.
Hello, this is Ramon Roca, from project manager from Consorci Sanitari de Terrassa. Consorci Sanitari de Terrassa is a healthcare organization providing healthcare in an area of 200,000 people around Barcelona. We have 1 hospital, 7 primary healthcare centers, and as well we have 4 centers for mental health and 4 centers for elderly people. So we have quite an integrated view of the healthcare in our area. So here I am here to present 2 public tenders that we are preparing for the near future, but we are still working on them. So the first one is a design of a health strategy to promote healthy habits, improve maternal health, ensure optimal child development, and reduce child obesity. Sorry. So the obesity is one of the major problems because also has links with future diseases. In particular, in women, it can carry out additional problems during pregnancy, delivery, and in the child development, and as well during childbirth after birth. So the system we are proposing, and we would like to get to a public tender, is that has to be a combination of technology, marketing, and as well dissemination. It has to provide the tools to the professionals to help them to prevent obesity in women. Also, it has to have to make users self-aware of the cause of the obesity in each case. Also, it has to help to provide information on the link with the future health problems that are linked with the obesity. Promote healthy habits in physical exercise, nutrition, and as well provide psychological support. So that at the end, the challenge is the prevention and an early intervention to prevent successfully the obesity. Identifying mothers, and this is a key issue, identifying mothers and children at risk of being obese and the determinants that cause the condition, and establish what type of intervention should be performed in each individual group. So the expected results are providing strong evidence of successful approaches for bringing the knowledge to gap and improving maternal and child health, and obtaining successful engagement and adherence to the health programs, and promote healthy habits and education. Also, to create an IT lifelong learning platform for self-engagement and increase the overall healthy habits, making the users self-aware of the benefits of the healthy lifestyle. So the technology, we think that is already available, but is not fully integrated in a unique, robust platform, and need also to be acceptable by the users and the professionals, and has to be versatile enough to be integrated in each kind of hospital. And that's why we are working, and we would like to identify as well the different actors that can help us to hit this platform on. The second challenge is related to elderly people. So we would like as well to obtain an integrated solution to improve the living conditions for elderly people at home, including health promotion and healthy habits. We have already experience in this field. I mean, we have been the coordinators of a FP7 project called Physiodome, intended for healthy aging, and has been deploying technological tools in 3 different countries, deploying devices and monitoring elderly people. So we know that this is a technological challenge. We know as well the opinion of users and professionals, and we have experience in the deployment of this kind of devices, and as well about the alert systems. So in this case, it will be an even better system, where the challenge will be to set up a universal platform, including the health parameters monitoring, healthy habits education as well, nutrition and physical exercise, and including as well social services coordination. With the system of alerts, it is important to have prompt interventions and transmit the information in a secure way, and display the information to the professionals in an easy way, and integrated with the system in each hospital that sometimes are different. The impact that we are seeking is to increase the health, well-being, and quality of life of elderly, a prompt intervention if it's necessary, reduction of the emergency visits, and the way the care is provided. So now, currently in the hospitals for elderly people, we have program visits, and they are coming every 2 months, every 3 months, and now it will be monitored constantly. And as well, it could help families and friends and carers of these people. We think as well, in this case, that technology is available, but as well as the other case, is not fully integrated in a single platform, and versatile enough to be integrated in each hospital. So we are working and to identify as well the different partners that could lead this, because it needs to integrate not only technology but also professionals of health and social service. And if anyone is interested, come to this meeting.
Thank you, Ramon. So next one is from Aquas. Yes, Jean Patrick. I think it's the last one because Vic is here or not? Not. Okay.
Hello. Hello, my name is Jean-Patrick Mathieu. I work for the Agency of Quality and Assessment of the Health System in Catalonia. It's an agency of the Department of Health. And I'm part of the unit of innovation where we work on the procurement of innovation principally. And I'm going to talk about the call that we are preparing for next year. I'll give you first some context and the strategy, and then maybe the aims and what are we looking for. The context is we are now currently in a PCP, pre-commercial procurement, where we are doing a rapid detection system to detect microbes, bacteria in the point of care area. So basically what we are looking for is what would be classified as a Internet of Medical Things device. That would be a autonomous system to detect the presence of bacteria in the point of care in hospitals. And we hope to do this autonomously, and now we just launched the PCP, and we hope by next year we have some prototypes that will be available for the testing in the real lab in real life condition. This project is part of our strategy in the Department of Health to fight against microbial resistance. You know that it is a global issue that we have to probably, if we are looking in a few years that antibiotics are going to start failing to work against some bacteria who are developing resistance, a threat for possible pandemics and so forth in our society. And this project was designed and proposed by the surveillance system of infections of the Department of Health, the VINCAT program. And we submitted a proposal for submission of funding in 2015 for the PCP. And now we have 6 hospitals in Europe who are working on this PCP. This is also aiming also at the European strategy to fight against microbial resistance, to fight against the misuse of antibiotics, and to reduce the risk of contamination in society. What the aim now of this next call will be to go from the PCP. The PCP, if you are familiar with, is to develop, to bring to make aware of to the market and the industry of the demand from the public procurers, from the public potential clients of solutions that are currently not being developed by the industry. So we are making aware of this to the market of this market potential, and we are investing in the research and development to develop some prototypes that will be used for this use. And with this next call in the rapid diagnostic to improve the clinical pathways associated with VAP, ventilated acquired pneumonia, our aim is to go, the next step is to take those prototypes to commercial products. So to jump this infamous valley of death, where a lot of prototypes and a lot of research and development are being developed, and then they stay only as prototypes, and they are not implemented by in the commercial use. So the aim of this call is to, now we are working, in the framework is in the framework of the project of a coordinated project with the RFI consortium, where we are developing what we call the preparatory phase of the next year call, where we are looking for potential buyers to join together to create a procurement pool where every small hospital or agency that are interested in this solution, they join together, each one bring a part of the procurement funding, and we have a bigger pool for a bigger fund joint procurement budget, so that we can be more competitive and more interesting for companies to participate in the procurement. And this is what we are preparing. Yes. Okay. So now we are looking for potential procurers that will be interested in this device. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean-Patrick. So now Teresa Guerrero. Sí, si quieres, vigila no s'acopli. Ells diuen a la rampa.
Thank you. Okay, good morning. I'm Teresa from the Waste Agency of Catalonia. We are the public authority in waste management in Catalonia. Our main tools are the general plan, awareness raising, statistics and monitoring of the waste results in the region. We have economical and fiscal incentives. As you know, we are more than 7.5 million inhabitants in the region, and almost 1,000 municipalities doing separate collection of waste, particularly or including bio-waste that is generally implemented in the region. Last year, we reached the general rate of 42% of selective collection of our total waste. That's a good achievement, but we stayed in the same level, around the same level, for several years, and our new targets are very far. Our main objective for 2025 are decrease the generation of municipal, industrial, and construction waste by 15% by weight compared to 2010. That's not easy. The other main objective, is to achieve a separate rate, general waste collection rate, of 60%. But not only do we want to increase our quantity collected, but we also want to improve the quality, because the goal is to increase the quality as the waste as a resources to recover the materials, introducing the materials in the circular economy. So if we don't have quality, that's not possible. So we know what to do, but we don't know how to do it. So it's a really good opportunity to launch a public procurement innovation process. We have this opportunity. We have a project, the budget is 20 million euros. 50 of them are from the European Regional Development Fund. And we identified the challenges, the main challenge we have in separate collection in waste in Catalonia. We launched an open market consultation to know what are the main characteristics we need in some demonstration pilots. So we defined the pilots, and we just have launched the conditions of the grant. The main challenge are to transport or transfer the good results we have in some rural areas to the more populated municipalities. That is really the most difficult. The second challenge is to improve the commercial and the industrial waste, but the assimilated of municipal, because as you know, we as workers, when we are to our offices or our companies, we also produce municipal waste, so that we need to recover that municipal waste produced in the industrial as assimilated as municipal. And the third challenge is to have a monitoring system really transparent and accessible for everybody. That is not easy. We have a lot of data, but we don't have a real monitoring system. So we have in our grant, we have 5 lines of subvention. 1 for small municipalities, 2 for medium municipalities, 1 for big cities in Catalonia, and a special line for tourist municipalities. Because we want to select one pilot or 2 pilots of each of that lines. We determined 9 requirements and 4 evaluation criteria. Pilots should set prevention goals and also separate collection goals. That's mandatory. Pilots have to cover both citizens and commercial activities. It's not possible to have a pilot without one of those publics or productors. The different kind of waste can be included in the project, but bio-waste is mandatory, and include restriction for residual fraction is also mandatory, because we want to reduce that residual fraction. It's our goal, principal goal, to decrease the quantity we eliminate. Projects have to include an open communication channel from the beginning, but during all the implementation as well. And the projects is mandatory to reach a pay-as-you-throw system, that is a fair tax in the municipality when with the behavior, the better you behave, the less you pay. So that's mandatory as well, but it's not easy, as you know. The contract have to include green purchasing, and last but not least, we need a transparent system, both with results and costs. The accomplishment of that 8 requirements guarantee that the project is an innovation in Catalonia. So with that kind of grant, every proposal we receive and accept is for sure an innovation. We have 4 criteria for evaluate the projects: scope, objectives, budget, and design. It's more detail if you want. We have the conditions published in our website. For us, innovation is about technology, but innovation is about collaboration as well. We want the collaboration to improve the collaboration between public and private sector, between big and small or medium companies, between technology and tech suppliers, between environmental and communication consultancies, and between social entities and citizens. So we want to improve that collaboration with our pilot demonstrations. So we just have published our grant conditions. We are going to publish the call by by the end of the year. The application should be submitted by the end of February. We think we need all the year to select the pilots, and by the end of 2020, we want to have the pilot demonstration selected. They will be implemented during 2021, and we want to include the results, a new collection waste model, our new revolutionary and innovative collection system in our policies. We want to introduce that new models by 2021 or 2023. Thank you. That's everything.
Thank you, Teresa. So the last, but not the least, yes, Anna Ciutat, it's your turn. Què prefereixes allà, no?
És que tinc por que se me'n vagi. Poder sí, però no, bueno, així aniré veient, no? Ah, vale. Hello, good morning. My name is Anna Ciutat. I am the Deputy Director on Public Procurement for the Government of Catalonia, and I'm going to present you the guide on Public Procurement of Innovation that was approved by the Catalan government on June 19. You can find the guide in our website. It will be soon in English. Now you can find it in Catalan. Why we decided as a public organ to prepare or to make a guide of innovation? Well, we thought it was necessary to have it not only to promote public procurement of innovation, but also to give tools to public buyers and to suppliers in order to make easy for them to prepare PPI procurement. The first thing that we have to do, especially for our public buyers, but also for our suppliers, is to change the mentality. So for public authorities, it's important to identify our needs instead of focusing in which products we want. We have to learn how to interact with the market. Sorry. We have to learn how to interact with the market, and assuming that PPI is a public policy, we must be a driving force for innovation. For suppliers, they need to know that exchanging information with public buyers is different than treating with private competitors. So they shouldn't be afraid of giving information to public authorities and be more confident in public administration. No, ja em va bé. Sí, perquè així em situo. Sí, vaig bé, no? Estic a la segona. Ah, ok. A veure. Sí, aquesta és. Ah, no, vale, doncs ja vaig bé, ja. Sí. Change mentality, sorry. So, the thing is that we are not competitors, we are clients. Setting this change of mentality, the guide tries to define what PPI is, and what PPI is a public policy to promote business innovation. It's also a way to improve our public services, changing the management systems, which means defining necessities, not products, but also using new products and new ways of working. PPI then is not only technology, although technology is important, but it's not only buying technology. This is the thing that most of our public buyers think, that what we have to do is to buy technology in order to buy innovation, and it's not necessary that it's being the same thing. And then why we have to buy innovation? Well, we should buy innovation because society has new needs with limited resources, but at the same time because there is a higher social demand. So we must give more quality with less cost, not only economical, but social and environmental cost. We also must respond to future challenges, modernize our services and the way we provision them. When and how we must buy innovation? Well, we buy innovation when we need a solution that we think it's not available in the market, or in case the current providing does not completely satisfy our objectives or needs, or simply when we are not satisfied with the results of our services. In order to prepare a correct PPI, we must diagnose the necessities and the potential improvement. We must be open to change, and we must make a planning of the future contracts and publish this information to the future tenders. How can we buy innovation? In the framework of public procurement, we have two ways that can be complementary to buy innovation. We can use new methods of market research that are not strictly public procurement, but specified by the European directives and the Spanish law. These methods are the preliminary market consultations and the pre-commercial public procurement. They can be a precondition for a formal procurement or not, in case we need them, though it's never compulsory to do a pre-commercial or to do a preliminary market consultation in order to do a formal public procurement of innovation. When we do formal procurement, we can use different procedures. The guide explains in more detail how to prepare preliminary market consultation and pre-commercial public procurement. Essentially, in preliminary market consultations, we need to know if there are any suppliers or products for our needs, or we just need help with the requirements and specifications because we don't know how they are in the market. But what we have to do as public authorities is respect transparency and equality, keeping the confidentiality, and in case we decide to make a future providing, it must be an open tender. In pre-commercial public procurement, the product we are looking for doesn't exist. So what we do is contract research and development in order to make a prototype. We pay for the works, and we don't buy nor commercialize the results. The procedure consists in 2 or 3 stages, beginning with explorations, designing, and eventually developing a prototype. In case we want to buy, we have to do a tender afterwards. And budget time. Public procurement of innovation, when we tender an innovation contract, we can use specific procedures like competitive procedure with negotiation, competitive dialogue or innovation partnership, or ordinary procedures like open and restricted procedures. The subject matter of an innovation public procurement must include research and development, must identify a necessity, not a detailed product or solution, must define the subject matter in terms of functional requirements, and include performance indicators to know if it's correctly done. The guide recommends which is the best procedure depending on the circumstances and explains in detail each one. So, we use competitive procedure with negotiation when the product or service exists and requires adaptation. We use competitive dialogue when there are no technical prescriptions and each bidder presents his solution in different stages during the procedure. We use innovation partnership in case we need a first stage of research, and afterwards, in case the research is successful, we purchase the results. See? Yes, tick? Okay. Well, In short, the guide recommends each procedure depending on our market knowledge. We can also tender with PPI with ordinary procedures, as long as some requirements are met. The specification must be in terms of functionality, describing needs, and enable alternative solutions. The technical specification must define needs for functionalities. And finally, the contract performance must establish quality standards. We can also have other ways, like unsolicited proposals, that we must be clear that when a company offers us a new product, what we have to do is respect the legal market, the legal norms. We have some special rules in confidentiality, and we must change our idea of intellectual property rights, establishing conditions and exploitation of rights. So you can find it in our website, which is this. I promise. Thank you, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Ana Ciutat. So we have a second workshop in the afternoon at 3:45. You are all invited, and see you later. Thank you very much.